The Bigamist from 1953 was an interesting film with a powerful message. Bigamy is generally not a good idea. Well, the film starred Edmond O'Brien, Joan Fontaine, Edmund Gwenn, and Lupino, who also directed this film. And I believe this is the first film in which she directed herself. And I've seen all of these actors in other films I've reviewed on this channel. I enjoy all of them a great deal. But the subject matter and the fact that this was more of a straight-up drama and not crime noir, I mean, honestly, this wasn't my ideal film, but there were still things I enjoyed about it. I mean, heck, you can't go exploring films of the past and expect all of them to be Casablanca, you know? So there's good things to say about the film, and I thought I would do that for this review. Well, the film opens up with Edmond O'Brien, who I recently reviewed in the film D.O.A, a great crime film, by the way. He plays a character, Harry Graham, who's this very successful traveling salesman. And his wife is Eve, played by the lovely Joan Fontaine, who I recently reviewed in the film Santa Fe Trail. And they're meeting with a kindly old Mr. Jordan, who's played by Edmund Gwenn, who I recently reviewed in the film The Trouble with Harry, which was a very entertaining Hitchcock film. Well, they're filling out the paperwork to adopt a child, and Mr. Jordan asks them to fill out the paperwork about their background details and so on, and Harry looks just a tad bit concerned about revealing some of his personal details. Mr. Jordan notices this and later records this reaction in his findings for the day. Well, at home that night, Eve and Harry talk about the adoption and amusingly refer to Mr. Jordan as being a little like Santa Claus. Well, you know, kind of a fun little inside joke, as indeed Edmund Gwenn did play Santa Claus in Miracle on 34th Street. Very silly. I see what you did there, film. Well, Eve is excited, but clearly Harry is distracted. He's got a lot on his mind. Whatever could it be? Well, Mr. Jordan comes by to visit their apartment. And I gotta say, just as a side note, Edmund Gwenn always sort of reminds me of John Hammond from Jurassic Park. You know who I mean, the old guy. It's just the voice and the mannerism, something about him, it just... Okay. He has a glass of milk with Harry and remains suspicious about Harry, that something is odd in his behavior. And then he goes off to interview some of the references that Harry provided. So eventually, this Mr. Jordan character, he's something of a detective. He goes and snoops around and tracks down where Harry lives during some of his sales trips, and makes a dark discovery that Harry is living a double life, married to another woman, and with a baby too. Oh, Edmond O'Brien, how could you? Well, Mr. Jordan is shocked, of course, yet presses him for more details, and then a good amount of the film follows with Harry recollecting the details. You know, so we hear his narration, sort of crime noir style, and his story is one of traveling and loneliness. He talks about how one day he took a Hollywood bus tour. His narration, quote, "I like movies, but I really didn't care where Clark Gable lived." I love these old films. Anyhow, the driver is giving the tour while Harry starts to check out the lady in the seat next to him, who is Lupino, who plays the character Phyllis. He awkwardly strikes up a conversation with her, and I mean, to be honest, he's a little creepy about it, but whatever, the two of them start talking. The tour guide, meanwhile, continues to talk about the homes of people like Luella Parsons, Jimmy Stewart, and Edmund Gwenn. Wait a minute, he's actually in this film. Wow, mind blown. And you know, thinking about it, the Hollywood tour probably could have included the homes of, say, Lupino and Edmond O'Brien as well, but we'll let that one go. After the tour, which to be honest was kind of cool to see some of the old Hollywood houses that they pass by, they go out for Chinese food. And once there, he's getting a drink at the bar, and lo and behold, he finds out that Phyllis is dressed as a waitress there and actually works there. So they talk, get to know one another, but nothing really romantic happens between the two of them yet. So Harry heads back home and has dinner with his wife and some other business guys. And you can see he's really distracted. He wants to be with Eve alone, you know, maybe take a trip with her to work on their marriage, but she doesn't seem all that interested. She's a little preoccupied. So back Harry goes and spends more time with Phyllis, and soon enough, they're romancing one another. Oh, Edmond O'Brien, you cad. Well, he returns home again to Eve, who he finds is packing up. Oh no! But no, she's going to go visit with her family. I think her dad was sick. So he says goodbye to her and then heads back to see Phyllis again. And at this point, she has left her job and is at a home where she is sick because she's having a baby. Oh no! So he stays with Phyllis and proposes marriage, then heads back to spend time with Eve. And you know what? He's just digging himself deeper and deeper in this story. You know, I'll let you watch the film to see how it unravels, but he really makes a mess of things. And even Mr. Jordan, after hearing the story, seems to have a degree of pity for the guy as we get to the end of the film. So, some quick closing thoughts. When I saw this film on Prime, and it had a number of A-list actors from the 40s and 50s, of course, I was curious to check it out. But in hindsight, some might find this type of film to maybe be a little too heavy on the melodrama side. I mean, let's be honest. I do watch films like Love is a Many Splendid Things, you know, on my mission to watch all of William Holden's films, so it's not uncommon for me to watch a drama and talk about it. And yeah, this wasn't exactly crime noir, action adventure, so I do watch drama from time to time on this channel, but I will say it's just not really my first priority. I'd much prefer a fun ride with a crime noir film, but hey, the film's still decent. The acting is good, the story and the premise was interesting, and Ida Lupino is a great actress and also a good director as well. And like I say all the time, I really like the location footage that they put into these old films, and seeing some of the Hollywood homes from back in the 50s was a fun touch as well. So that's The Bigamist from 1953. Good acting, interesting premise, and it's worth checking out.